Well, just back from a week at an off-grid in the mountains, and yes, those were our neighbors. We had a mother black bear and two cubs just hanging out just outside the window of the off-grid we were staying at. And they were there every day. We saw them every day, so they were kind of our companions on this trip. So we were just really careful about where we went hiking. We watched what direction they went. We went the other direction. So it's always important when you're out in the mountains to carry bear spray and wear bear bells. Make noise so you don't surprise a bear. Black bears are generally not as big a threat as grizzlies. A black bear would rather run away from you. It will only charge or attack you if it's cornered or surprised. Grizzlies, it's a little bit more of a turkey shoot. You always want to be carrying your bear spray and wearing bear bells. It also helps to know how to identify a bear scat if you find it on the trail, whether you're dealing with a black bear somewhere in the area or a grizzly. You can tell black bear scat because it has berries and twigs and leaves in it. You can tell grizzly bear scat because it has bells in it and smells like pepper spray. So anyway, nice off-grid getaway for almost a week, and back at it. Well, today I'm going to start the work of making all of this wood look like a guitar. One thing that I need to do is mark the center line on the templates. The one I did for the mud, when I cut that out, I was not thinking, and I didn't draw a center line when I started. So I'll need to find the center on that, and this one, for Butch, had a center line, but I cleaned it up because it was kind of dirty up here, and when I was cleaning that off, I wiped off the center line. My view of the center line is that to a certain degree, it's somewhat arbitrary. It doesn't have to be exactly the center of the body, as long as it's the center of the neck and the center of the bridge. So in other words, you could put your neck here, and as long as your bridge were lined up center with it and everything else center with it, you'd still have a functional guitar. It would look funny, but it would work fine. That said, I'm picky about those kind of things, so I want this to be center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where the center of the what's going to be the neck pocket is. We'll start with that. I've got my my digital calipers. I eyeballed this using my Crimson protractor, and it's about 57.5 millimeters wide total. It's wider than the neck ultimately will be. I wanted to leave some room to carve that down, and it's the same on the other blank as well. So I eyeball measured that at about 57.5, and yeah, I'm getting 57.6 millimeters. Okay, so there's my top center mark. Yeah, so right here where I'm reading, I've got 307 millimeters, so the middle would be 153.5 millimeters. And I'm just going to double check that we're equidistant from each side of the neck pocket and the widest part of the body. 28.5 there, and about 28.5 there, so that's good. And yeah, 153.5. So I got my center line on this one. I'm going to find the center line on the other one, and then what I'm going to do is drill a couple of holes with a Forstner bit and transfer that line down the edge so that I can line it up when I'm putting it on the blanks. So it's a little bit harder to sort out on this one because the top cutaway for the neck is very close. Like I say, these where these neck pockets are going to be, I've left the template a little bit wider so I can shave down and get the neck pocket exactly as wide as the neck itself. So it's about 56 millimeters, so the halfway point should be about 28 millimeters. Okay, what I'm doing here is I went a little bit lower than the widest point just so I could
make the numbers work out well. So I'm at exactly 310 millimeters. Half of 310 would be 155 millimeters. So that should be right there. 155. 155. We're bang on. And just drawing my center line. Okay, that's the center lines marked in. I'm going to get the drill press set up, and I'm going to drill those holes and get ready to line things up on the body blanks. I'm going to mark where I want to drill these holes through. I'm going to use about looks like about a 3/4 Forstner to make that hole, and then I'll transfer the center line through that hole and also to the back of the guitar, so that I have it every direction I might need it from. I've got the center line carried around through the holes and around the back of the template. I'm going to just draw the center line a little more clearly on the blanks. Then we're going to press the templates on. I will trace around them, and then I'm going to rough cut them using my jigsaw. Also, another thing I'll point out, I had said I wanted to use the more plain of the tops on my second. All along I have felt like if I'm making a second, I think this is going to go pretty well, and I would like Butch to have the fancier top, or Butch the second. Butch Jr. we'll call him. I accidentally glued the wrong tops on each blank anyway, so Butch is getting the fancier flame maple, and the Mutt's going to get the plainer flame maple. And I was just looking at it, and the back, I really liked the way the ash looked on the back of the blank for the Mutt, and it just seems to match really well with that simpler flame maple. So Butch is getting a little bit more of the fancy treatment. Another thing, like I said, Butch is a little bit longer than I actually have. So I'm going to cut it so that the top just comes to the ends, and at the bottom I'm just going to have to just shape this round just a little bit closer. I'll do that when I get to that point. I got a 0.7 graph gear pencil, which I really like for drawing the finer lines and drawing on paper and whatnot. But when I'm doing this, I have my my drafting pencils. I think those are a 2 mil lead, or a 1.5, and I really like the way they draw right on the wood. It's a lot easier to see. There we are, blank number 1 drawn out. You can see it gets a little flat here at the bottom. I'll be able to shape that as I'm getting a little farther along in the build. And there won't be any problem getting this blank to fit the entire template, so I don't have the same concerns as I had with Butch, and that's good. This is a shorter body this way anyway. It's one of the things I like about it. It's a little more compact, and I think Butch getting a little more compact will probably work out quite well also. This is the double-sided tape from StewMac. It doesn't grip the wood very hard, which can be a plus and a minus. I have had this slip off on me. Burnishing it down really helps. But if I really needed something to stick really solidly, I'd probably use the masking tape and super glue trick. It's sometimes nice to have tape that releases easy. And that's body template number 2 traced out, and we're ready to go. We're going to rough cut these, and then we'll see how the new router table wing works. All right, well, that's both body blanks cut. Here's the rough cut for Butch. And here's the rough cut of the Mutt. I want to give a shout out of thanks to Tornelli Guitars. I was looking for good options for cutting with the jigsaw, and I saw one of Tornelli's videos where he rough cut a body with one of these Bosch T308 blades, and it looked really good. I said, hey, what were you using? He said, that's what I'm using. And so right away I ordered 5 of them, and yeah, I'm really happy with them. Another thing, I had a lot of trouble using the kit batteries. Those are 1.3 milliamp hour, and they kept running down and didn't have a lot of power. So I went and got one of the high performance battery kits for the Ryobi, the 1 plus 18 volts. That's a 4 milliamp hour with a 30-minute charger. Not only did it charge up fast, and it held the charge while I cut this whole body. When I was cutting Butch, that was when I was having the trouble with the kit batteries. Using that new battery, it had enough power to cut the whole thing. Plus, it ups the power of the jigsaw. It just, I could tell there was more power and it seemed smoother. That's the rough cuts. I'm going to set up the router table now to sort of fine tune these edges a bit. And then that's where I'll end this video. So we'll have the bodies rough cut and on their way to a fine finish. Well, that's the bodies rough cut and routed. They are looking really good right now. I'll show you what we've got. So there we have Butch Jr. And here is the Mutt. And they both came out really, really well. I have one spot on Butch where there's a chip, which is it's a pretty big chip, but it's exactly where the roundover is going to be on the top cutaway. You can see that right there. I got lucky with that. And there was one chip right here. Same thing. It's where the arm carve is going to be right there. And also it's still a little rough up here, but that's okay because I'm intending to do some carving here to make some better upper fret access. I got kind of lucky with this. 2 chip out spots that are not going to matter when the guitars are finished. And that one spot up at the top. And like I say, I'll be carving that heel for better upper fret access. Overall, I am very, very happy with the way this has turned out. My plan for the next video is to start working on the templates for my neck and the neck pocket. Those are the things I'm kind of most concerned about. There's about 3.5 months left in the competition, and I figure I better get my neck pocket and neck templates done so they're working. So that's probably what I'll be working on in the next video. I also have to do templates for the pickups and for the control cavities. Which means I've got to decide 100% what I'm doing for pickups. I cannot shake the idea of having 2 P90s in Butch. So I'm going to, as long as this guitar actually turns out, like I say, this is kind of the practice guitar. Man, that figuring looks great. But as long as this guitar works out, I'm going to custom wind 2 P90s for Butch. And for the Mutt, my favorite pickup combination is hum single single, although I may go with a humbucker bridge, humbucker neck, and a single coil in the middle. It definitely will be a 3 pickup guitar. Probably on Butch I'll have 1 volume control, 1 tone control. But on the mutt, it seems like when I have 3 pickup guitars, I really like to have a separate tone control for the bridge, and then the middle and neck are on one tone control. So definitely 1 volume each guitar, probably 1 tone control for Butch, a global tone control, and 2 tone controls for the mutt, 1 for the bridge dedicated, and then 1 for the neck and middle. Other than that, making some decisions on hardware. I am going to go with gold hardware on the mutt, and I'm going to go with nickel or silver or chrome on Butch. Probably a brushed nickel look, something a little bit more dirty, sort of down to earth, not really relict, but just not quite so blingish. Butch, the original Butch and Butch the second, they always seem like workhorse guitars to me. So I really want to kind of stick with that with this second Butch. Things are finally starting to look like guitars, which is making me really happy. So like always, thanks for watching. Check out my band One Soul Thrust. The links are below. I'm really having a good time doing this. It's really great. The router table extension wing is working out pretty good mostly overall. There was a couple of places where I did notice that the body blanks kind of wanted to hang up. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on that. I had to shim the plate to make it level. I would like to put some leveling screws in there. Also, it's a phenolic plate, and it's a little old, and I don't think it's perfectly flat anymore, so I may be replacing that. I'd really like to get a router lift in there, but they're just so expensive, and I don't have the time to make one. So anyway, the router table extension wing is working out well. Just have to do a few little tweaks and adjustments and still get that miter track in there. Regarding the 2+1 build, I kind of thought it was interesting and a good idea to build 3 amps and 2 guitars at the same time, and I could do that. It's not really too much of a problem, but I'm really finding that I'm really enjoying right now concentrating on building these guitars. I've built tons of amps, so I kind of am putting the 2+1 amp build sort of on hold. Probably won't really do much with it until after I finish my GGBO guitars. May do 1 or 2 episodes at some point over the summer on that. But amps are really kind of the thing I like to do in the winter when I can't really get out here in the shop because it's too cold. And with supply chain issues, it looks like parts are getting hard to get. So I might keep the 2+1 sort of as my fall-winter build this year. So again, like always, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. The links to my band One Soul Thrust are below. And until the next video, we'll see you.